and then I don't know why it says something went wrong.
I don't
But
know. I was
it looks
seeing.
like it looks like it's live now.
Yeah.
Is that obscuring the windows? That the window that says something like this works better in Windows?
No. It'd be pretty funny if it did.
Yeah, I really like cross-platform products. I just wish they were equal. Some
Yeah.
are. Some doing a real good job at cross-platform. Others, I just want to take them outside and say, look,
It says we're recording and streaming.
yeah.
Hey, hey everyone, welcome to the Hacker Syndicate. It's actually episode 8. I am Paul Asadorian. Wonderful to be here on this fine Friday afternoon. Mr. Lee Neely is here with us. Lee, welcome.
Hey, great to be here after some traveling and road trips. I'm nice to be actually at home and seeing all you guys. It's great.
Miss Mandy Logan's here with us. Welcome, Mandy.
Why, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm very excited for this as well. It feels like this is a good Friday afternoon.
It
Yes,
is.
it
Mandy, can
is.
you turn your gain up a little bit? You got a little more gain you can give me on that?
Sure. Is that
That's a little better.
successful? Do you
A
want
little
more?
more? Yeah, maybe more.
All
Oh,
right.
and she's rocking her DEF CON swag. Look at
Yeah. Did
that.
you see my? This was my DEF CON sock patch for this year.
That is cool.
I love it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Oh,
if you
I do
got how
too.
where's your gain at? Turn it up even more. Like,
Wait,
is it?
let me look into full settings just a second.
Yeah, maybe on your system. A lot of times my system will just like crank. In fact, it probably did it now.
My
It'll
echo
just like
cancellation is off,
turn down my
and
microphone input. Oh, my microphone input's good there. It leaves just like a lot louder than you.
I mean, I can always turn myself down if you want.
No, I think your levels are good. I'm not seeing you
Okay.
clipping.
No. I see a little green flashy on my Scarlet down there.
That's good. Green flashies are good.
Yes. The yellow one, not so much.
okay, that's entirely too loud for volume for me.
Oh
Okay,
yes, that
do you? Is that better?
that's a little
Oh,
better.
hey,
Yeah,
whoa, that made a big difference.
yeah.
Okay, but now you're blaring my eardrums out. I've got to figure this out.
Oh yeah, you gotta turn your monitor down. Yeah.
okay.
We feel like we're turning into what? Home studio hackers?
Home
Well, we
studio
just
hackers.
let's
Yeah.
try it again.
I
How
like the
is
sound
that
of that.
decent?
That's
Yeah.
good. Yep.
Okay.
Let the record show that Mandy was decent.
There was a moment. There was at least one moment in time where Mandy was decent.
And we recorded it. That's it.
You got it. I'm done. Okay, I'll leave
Woohoo!
on a
Her
high
work here
note
is
now.
done.
Exactly. I'm done. I'm out. It only took 3 years for us to get to me being decent.
I'm just still trying to wrap my brain around this whole flipper unlocking cars thing. I don't know
It's
if you got
hard. No.
No, what?
so Joseph Cox. I actually subscribed to 404 Media.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just had to give him an email address.
Okay.
Um, and because I wanted to read this article called "Underground Trade of Flipper Zero Tech to Break into Cars." And this is the one that weird website. Here, I can actually share my
Okay, I
screen.
found it. Um,
I'm gonna go entire screen share.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the article.
yeah. So
yeah,
that's
there
the
we go.
article, right? And it's a super interesting story for a lot of reasons. I mean, I like that journalists are really digging into this because I think many of us were skeptical when this first came out. He mentions the Straight Arrow News being the ones to kind of break the story, and that's the source that we covered, and we had never heard of Straight Arrow News before. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, 404 Media has a really good reputation. Um, and wrote this article. They actually interviewed Trick, and Trick is known for having a bunch of like car hacking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Trick says the Kia Boys will be Flipper Boys by 2026, which is an interesting statement to
Wait,
unpack.
restate that, please. What?
He says Kia Boys will be Flipper Boys by 2026.
Hmm.
Does this mean they're doing newer attacks or the same attack with a flipper?
So in the article, it was curious. They did trace it back to the Russian hacker. I think Krebs. Krebs
Mm-hmm.
might have also traced it down, but I don't think Krebs wrote an article. Krebs just posted it on Mastodon. But he traced it back to that same, what I presume is the same Russian hacker that was uncovered by Krebs. And that the Russian hacker guy said that he somehow got his hands on the source code to the fobs and other components.
Oh.
And from analyzing the source code for select vehicles and models, manufacturers and vehicle models, was able to do something, like find some vulnerability or weakness that allows the flipper to replay the unlock code.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was like the lock code and then the unlock code. But that, I think Sam and I talked about it briefly on the show, like that disrupts the timing of the rolling codes. And so your key fob doesn't work. It invalidates the key fob, which is
Whoa.
kind of like a double whammy.
Ah.
So if you just want to be disruptive,
You could just
wipe
performance
out my
attack
key
and then-
fob
and then lock the car. Well, a lot of key fobs do have the key backup. Not all.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we
I
talked about that too. Yeah.
Yeah,
But how
that's
many
almost
people know how
that's
to use it?
double encryption.
Yeah, but think about it. How many people actually know where to go with that backup key on their key fob, particularly if it's a rental?
Right. Yeah, it's kind of hidden in the key fob.
Yep, and the one spot on the car where it'll go. Sometimes you have to like pull the handle a little bit. Other times it's wherever the heck.
Oh, sometimes there's a thing over where the key.
Yeah,
goes in, right?
exactly. So I'm thinking-
Yeah.
Imagine if you're on a business trip, you're like stressed out, and somebody does that to you. I'd be freaking pissed. I mean,
So, but it's interesting though. Like, it states in the article, because this is what I was curious about, and there is a statement in the article that says it does not allow an attacker to start the car,
no.
just to unlock the car, right? Which is a huge difference. Hey, it's Adrian Sanabria. How are you, man?
Hey, dude.
He's joining very slowly, and he's not at home. Where in the world is Adrian?
Could be almost anywhere. We have a very gallivanting group, you know?
Yeah.
Your camera's frozen. Your audio's very spotty. It looks like a data center in the background.
It's a Barnes and Noble.
It's a Barnes and Noble.
There's still one standing. Adrian's in the world's last Barnes and Noble. Oh my gosh.
They're actually building new ones, a ton of new ones.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
I would have done worse than you if I tried to join from Nevada City. Where my brother lives, there's like one bar of LTE, and his wireless is spotty. But glad to see you, or at least have you on board.
I'm have to check my phone.
Oh
This is,
boy,
That's,
is looking
that's
pretty
pretty
solid.
rough.
it's pretty rough.
That's pretty rough.
Pretty rough. All right.
That's really bad. Whew. Is he trying to compete with Ian? Of course, I wasn't there.
I know,
for the
right?
original issue, but
Yeah, the original one was so bad we had to redo it.
Bummer.
But that episode was published yesterday, so the audience could also check the redo, which was really good. I really enjoyed talking to Ian. I definitely could talk to him a lot.
Cool. Sounds like we have a regular, potentially.
A lot of these
That would
YouTube
be
videos,
fun.
though, for these Flipper YouTube videos, a lot of them some of them got, the videos got taken down.
Oh, that figures. So,
Like, oh my God, we can't ever talking about unlocking cars, because if we talk about it, then people will steal cars. Like, I can't. It's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, yes, like, okay, so I can use this to unlock a car. So if somebody's going to unlock my car and take my stuff, would they rather they broke the window or did this?
Right. Yeah, this just
Oh my
gets them
goodness.
access to the vehicle. Now, for a Hyundai and Kia, and specifically a Hyundais and Kias that don't have an immobilizer, this attack is absolutely devastating for those
Yeah.
vehicles. Because all you need to do now is get this firmware from the Russian dude, put it on your flipper, and you can walk up to all of these different model Kia and Hyundais and unlock them. And out of this list, 2025 vehicles I don't think have the vulnerability that the Kia boys used. But I think it was up to like 2021 model Kia and Hyundais have the Kia boys vulnerability, which allows, the person to take apart the steering column, insert your USB key or even a screwdriver and just start the car.
I'm actually surprised that they aren't the Hyundai boys, given the size of the two lists.
I agree. I think Kia just is easier to say, but this is intriguing since I had a rental Kia very recently
hmm
and had checked into that because it was a Tucson. It was a brand new Tucson.
hmm
And so I felt like, okay, I'm not concerned about it. I'm also not exceedingly concerned about being targeted by a Kia Boy at any moment, right?
Right.
Even though with the loss of my truck, the battery tech was like, this is like an EMP went off. Have you been targeted by any groups? And that's like, oh,
Wow.
interesting. Wow.
Stay away from
So-
those EMPs, Mandy.
Yeah. Well.
like, well, what was strange is like I found a voltometer lead with two ends like in the grass near my truck, and then found that the HIDA key had been removed. So
Whoopsie.
it was strange, although it was apparently rodents, which I find that technically advanced if they figured out how to do that. But looking at the Kia, the Hyundai, the Subaru, I didn't actually realize the Ford list was that big either. And what is that saying? So under the Ford list, it has
Yeah, I
like
was gonna go there
Jaguar,
next.
Lincoln,
You read my
Mercury.
mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, because Ford
Totally,
is like
what?
serious models up to 2014. So that's not my truck, although it says in development up to 2022, which would, I think my truck is a 2018 F-150. Yeah.
okay.
Isn't the Ford Galaxy like from the 60s?
You mean the old Galaxy 500?
I've not heard of any new models Ford
I don't
Galaxy.
know.
Maybe there's
Uh-oh.
a new one.
Time to ask the internet.
You gotta ask the
Or,
internet.
or it's in a different country, because some of
Yeah,
those
right.
are ones that are not.
Oh, yeah, a
US
lot of these
produced.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another list here too. It
Ah,
seems to me
Ah.
that a lot of these are European.
European ones.
Yeah,
Right.
European
Yes.
cars.
It's a 7-seater car produced by Ford of Europe from 95 to 2023.
Ouch. I'm surprised with Audi that it's up to 2020.
And it looks nothing like what
That
I
makes
think of when I
sense,
see
though.
it.
Audi's
Yeah.
been kind of
What?
like an open vehicle platform. I know when I was modding, I had a Mini Cooper that I modded, and Audi, their ECU hacks are just like software that you can download from the internet. I remember reading something
So-
about that.
Oh, okay.
So global supply chain is nuts with cars. So
Yes.
these are all Volkswagen except for the two French ones,
Right,
except for
right.
Peugeot
Right.
and Citroen. So Seat, Skoda, Audi, that's all Volkswagen group. So
Right.
they're all going to use the same key fobs. They're all going to use the
So-
same door hardware.
Right.
Product reuse.
Will you go back to the prior list, please?
Yeah.
Okay, so Chrysler now with the Fiat. So those, not all of those, but those are Stellantis, right? The Fiat, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge,
Yeah, it's like all the same company, right?
right? Except I didn't think that I can't read that. Kronos and Ducato. I don't. Those must be European. I don't know what those are.
It must be, yeah.
Where's
that's
on the capture
Stellantis.
Command? That's Stellantis, right?
Mhm.
Lancia, I don't know Lancia at all.
Yeah, Lancia is
agree.
another European only brand. They only sell like one car.
Excellent. Okay. And to the one poor sap that has it, we're going to make sure that we take it over.
But
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the other interesting thing too is like, you don't need a flipper. I mean, you can do this with conceivably any
Right.
other kind of hardware that can transmit on those frequencies. I'm not exactly sure what frequencies all these have in common, but I would assume, you know, an SDR can certainly
hmm
do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and it's so this has come up with the tariffs as well. Like like once you start getting into how a car is built and where the parts come from, you realize that there's an astonishingly small number of sources for certain things. Like if you want
That makes
airbags, they're either going to come from Mexico or China. Like you
Right.
don't have any other choices.
hmm
Because that's just how the whole auto industry has evolved over time. Like what's the cheapest way to make seat belts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, like you do all the seat belts, we'll do the airbags, they'll do the key fobs.
Yeah.
You just don't have that many sources for these. and obviously, like your key fob is some ABS plastic and a PCB. Like that's not that hard
Yeah.
to make somewhere else. But once you
Ah,
get into
couldn't get my mute
seatbelts and
button.
airbags,
Sorry, thank you.
yeah, once you get into seatbelts and airbags, like you've got explosives and like this very specific fabric that has to stretch in a certain way when you get into an accident. That's a little bit harder to just recreate somewhere else.
But it's also under the hood. I mean, many years ago, I remember I had a neighbor who was exclusively a Chevy mechanic, and I asked him for some help on my Mazda, just some advice. And he opened the hood. He's like, "What are all these Mopar parts doing in here?" And that's when we realized there was a global supply, and that's
Yeah.
and it was just cool, by the way. It's just kind of surprising.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
and
call it brand engineering. There's also like
Yeah.
like the Toyota Supra and the BMW Z4, same
Mhm.
car,
Yeah.
right? Like the
Oh,
Subaru
yeah, yeah.
BRZ and the Toyota FR86, same car.
Wasn't it
Well,
like the
it's kind of
Chevy
it's kind of
Trax
like BM, but it's kind of like BMCs for servers. Like most of the chips are an A-speed
Exactly.
AST. What is it? I forget the model numbers. 20 something. There's like 2 or 3 model numbers they make that are ARM-based CPUs that
Mhm.
most of them run. And then the software, we talked about this on Below the Surface, is largely based on OpenBMC. And so most manufacturers take OpenBMC as the base and then customize it, basically fork it and customize it from there. And what AMI does is they're trying to market themselves as like, hey, we're the best at customizing OpenBMC, getting rid of all the vulnerabilities. So just license the BMC software from us. We'll give you a really super clean, OpenBMC with a lot less vulnerabilities than anyone else. And I know because Eclipsium worked with AMI and we counted. And so AMI actually does the best job of getting a clean version of OpenBMC. But it's the same thing as vehicles, right? If you're going to mass produce that thing, like you said, Adrian, the supply chains are going to obviously. I mean, it's similar to how attackers work. Like, am I going to do initial access and everything? No, I'm going to go buy it from somewhere. Am I going to write
Yeah,
all
of
my own
course.
exploits? No, I'm going to go buy it from somewhere.
Right.
And it's the same thing with
And
this
it-
flipper. If I'm a thief, I got to go buy it from somewhere potentially. And this one's on a Flipper Zero, and the software
it's
he
just
keys,
convenient.
but he keys it to your Flipper Zero.
Oh,
can't-
so like a
interesting.
license
Yeah,
key.
Yeah, so there's something. It's in somewhere in the article. You have to send him your serial number and one other piece of information from your flipper, and then he keys the firmware to your flipper. Now, obviously, it's
Wow.
only a matter of
Wow.
time before someone breaks that encryption, which I believe people already have. They kind of alluded that cracked versions are starting to trickle out from the community. So,
Right.
and I think that's Trick's thing. Like, right now, you've got to buy it from this guy for up to $1,000, and he keys it to your flipper. But that's going to eventually leak out, and everyone's going to have the capability to unlock all these cars.
No, but I love his comment about a lot of noobs will play around and then brick their key fobs.
Yes. Well, and that's the other part of this article
Yeah.
is they're redirecting them to a thing that says "FU." So when like newbies come into like the Discord or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, what's the thing to unlock the things? Like that sounds really cool." They're like, "Yeah, here you
Yeah.
go. Here's a link." Yeah. So noobs are not welcome. They're trying to
And
gate
that's
it,
a
but
time-honored tradition. Like
Yeah.
if you go find like malicious scripts and malware and stuff like that, they'll always have like things in the code that are
Right.
intentionally messed up or replaced, and you have to have some understanding of code or what the code is supposed to do to correct those things.
Well, yeah, that was
it's
back
just to
in the day.
filter out the script kiddies, right?
see, I only got
Mhm.
lucky back in the day because I'm a terrible exploit writer. And especially back in the day, I was even more terrible. But there was an exploit for the TSIG vulnerability in Bind DNS.
Mm-hmm.
And when it first was released, there was a version of the exploit that you could find that was in a lot more places that was, like you said, Adrian, purposely broken, and you had to figure out how to fix it. But I happened to get an early copy of the working exploit code that was not purposely broken. And that version quickly disappeared from the internet, and a lot of researchers were contacting me for the actual exploit details on it. And I'm actually in a chapter of a book written by Judy Novak and Stephen Northcutt. And one of my claim to fame in that book was I provided the packet signature detection for that exploit because I had a working exploit copy.
Oh.
So
That's actually one of the ways I learned to write code in the early days. I was like, I really want to get this to work.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
my motivation.
See, but now I would just take the broken exploit code and I would try and have an LLM fix it for me
Yeah.
Sure.
and explain
Now,
why.
now there's
you know,
an
why.
easy button.
There's an easy button for sure. Yeah.
Wait,
Just
I want to go
interesting.
back to something that was said before, and I have a related but completely unrelated question.
Sure.
Okay, so am I correct in my understanding that on SD card manufacturers, there's only a few that actually make SD cards and that they are mass produced, and then after they are produced, they are run through diagnostics, and then based on what their processing speed is, then they are labeled for what they are?
In other words, they make them all kind of the same, and based on how they wound up is how they get categorized.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, absolutely. That's how chip fabs work as well.
Okay.
Like nobody sets out to, okay, this is a 5090 and this is a 4060,
Okay.
right? Like they just create a whole bunch of them, and the quality control process decides,
Sorts them
okay,
out.
this is going to be a budget CPU, this is going to be a server CPU. It all comes
There
out of
we
the,
go.
the quality control process.
Okay.
At least for like smaller model ranges, like Celerons and Xeons were not cut from the same cloth, but
Oh, no.
different grades of Celerons and different grades of Xeons were.
Ah, okay. But then they probably wind up with less waste.
That's the goal. Yeah. I mean,
That's
that's how
kinda cool.
those model lines were created, right? It was like, okay, this one's really good quality. You can overclock it. So we're going to sell it as a high-end gaming CPU,
And
whereas this one, not so much.
yeah. That one's for grandma's computer. This one's for,
Yeah,
But
I
no,
had
it's
a,
kinda
I had
cool.
a cousin that used to work at SanDisk. He used to do the global supply chain. Like, he was the guy trying to find like ways to save 2 cents on every micro SD card.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Because they make so many of them. Yeah. I want to go back to the flipper for a moment.
Mhm.
One of the live stream listeners is commenting. It says, all
Oh.
you have to do is peel back the wheel well liner and disconnect the headlight harness and plug in with a
Yeah.
CAN bus jack tool. I've seen that hack
Yeah, well-
before. We talked about electronics and firmware that people are buying on underground forums. I'll say that sells for this similar price, like $500 to $1,000, that allows you to do stuff like that. It's not a flipper, but you can buy regular other hardware, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
it
also-
doesn't have to be a multi-purpose tool, right? Like those are like
Yeah.
single-purpose tools. They're
Yeah.
much cheaper.
I mean,
So-
we could probably easily port the code over the Hack RF and call it a day, and then you can just do it with the Hack RF. Because I'm
Yeah.
certain that the Hack RF can transmit on the same frequencies as a Flipper Zero.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right? That's the Hack RF is a
Mm-hmm.
much wider spectrum platform for RF communication.
Well,
than
like you were
Flipper.
saying, Paul, they probably have the same chips in them.
Quite possibly.
Do they? I'm not sure that they do.
No, actually,
I
they
know-
don't. You have to use different drivers.
So the chip in the Flipper is actually the CC1101, which
Okay.
is a sub-gigahertz RF transmissions. I don't remember the exact frequencies you can transmit on. There are some hacks to get around region restrictions. So if you get like unleashed firmware, which is where this developer of this firmware is from, and that 404 article corroborated that story. But so you can actually widen the scope of the radio frequencies on the flipper by just modifying the firmware, and most of the flipper third-party firmwares allow you to do that. So I just worry that the flipper is going to be like the thing that everyone bans. Like, we're not going to be able to travel
Yeah.
with them. There was an incident
Yeah.
at DEF CON. Like, that's going to be the thing.
It's already happened, right? Like,
It has, right.
I don't travel with mine for that reason, because people are getting
So-
targeted.
So,
It's too recognizable now. So
Right.
I travel with the
Mhm.
LilyGo T embed CC1101.
you think Flipper will try rebranding? Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. Change the
Oh
look.
no, yeah, they are.
That's
They're
what I think, yeah.
they're coming out with a new one,
A
but I
different
mean it still
version.
looks kind of like a. Did you see
I
that?
mean-
There was a LinkedIn post from the CEO of Flipper
Hmm.
that was
No.
the point of the post was they're hiring a really skilled. They're in the hunt for a really skilled Linux engineer that can build a custom Linux distribution for the Flipper Zero because they're going to run an ARM chip and they need Linux on it. So hire someone good, man. I hope there's got to be a handful of people out there that I know have those skills. Like I wish I had those skills because that sounds like an awesome job. But you're going to be basically living in Linux dependency hell and Linux builds for your life, which is can be hard. Although I mean the Yocto builds for like it's very similar to OpenBMC, right? It's ARM based Linux distribution. The build system is actually pretty good. They use Yocto. And actually, people are recommending they use Yocto as the build system to build a custom ARM distribution. And people recommended either basing it on Arch or NixOS because the founder of the Flipper was like, we don't like a lot of the other apt package utilities. He gave reasons. I wish I could find that post now.
Yeah. But Lee, to your question, I don't think you want to change the way this thing looks. This is iconic now.
Oh,
right?
I didn't say it was a good idea. I'm just wondering, it's like to get off the radar. I mean, I think, we know with one eye half closed what a Flipper Zero looks like. Yeah.
If you want it to be a profitable business, you don't want to get off that radar, even if it's like a negative thing. Like, that's. I mean, this thing, from day one, it was iconic. It had the dolphin, Tamagotchi feel to it.
Yeah.
Like that's that's what made it. It's like still even today, I don't think I've ever seen more brand destruction than Twitter being renamed to X. Right? Like it was very iconic branding. I think that would be a huge mistake to take the Flipper out of the Flipper.
That's like their shtick, right?
There's a lot of value in that. Yeah.
There is, I don't know, how Paul referenced the Flipper Zero incident at DEF CON, and I would say, well, at DEF CON and while gooning, I had 3 different people that came up and specifically asked if it was a misdemeanor in Las Vegas to have or own a Flipper Zero. And I actually hadn't thought about that and didn't get to do a lot of research, but I don't know if any of you, I could see that in a way because of casinos and because of the amount of gaming controls that have to be in place. Have any of you guys heard anything about that? I mean, basically we had determined that I don't believe it was a specific misdemeanor to own a Flipper in Clark County, Nevada, but I could see them petitioning to do that.
Oh, so here's let me share my screen. Entire screen. So this is the post from
Flipper there it is.
Yeah, devices. So it's a Linux ARM-based computer, and they want to make a custom Linux distro for it. They don't like apt because updates can leave the system in an inconsistent state if interrupted. No built-in way to roll back, and no simple method to reset the factory settings. I see now people's leaning towards Arch and or NixOS that have better capabilities in those areas.
Yeah.
But they're looking at Flatpak App Imager Snap because it doesn't break the OS and it runs them in, at least, well, I think in all 3 cases it runs them in some kind of container based system.
Yeah. And, back to Adrian's legitimacy point, I mean, just was it 10 months ago they posted that they got their own range of MAC addresses from IEEE, which is pretty legitimate and cool. I mean,
yeah, the comments are interesting.
Then they had
interesting. Not as interesting as some of the comments on one of my LinkedIn posts.
But no,
which are absolutely
but definitely
hilarious. Which we got to read some of those. Now I'm on a tangent, but
yeah,
I wanted to do this because the comments are really, really funny. Probably the funniest. Hey, look, that's like us. Look at
right now.
That's us right now. Is that
awesome? That was before. Now
it was this one. Yeah, it was the printer. The printer. No, not that. Go back. It was this one. No, it wasn't that one.
Printing is not supported.
Printing is not supported on this printer.
That one had over 100,000 views on Threads, and the comments were really funny. But it was one of my Linux ones. Where is it now? I should have queued it up for the show. It wasn't that one. Oh, it was this one. 217 comments.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And So I said I missed the days of if config, and so
yeah.
well, no, that wasn't the one with the funny comments.
Yeah, now
So
it's the IP command, right?
yeah, and so
Yeah.
that one got over 100,000 impressions, but maybe it was the printer one. It was the printer one on Threads that I'm thinking of. Hold on.
Okay.
Depending on what day it is, I'll go back and reinstall old utilities
Mm,
just because I don't want to deal with the learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
right. Let's see if
Otherwise, I'm sitting there doing an internet search for how do you do it with the new thing. Damn it!
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
what I
I'm
used
sorry.
to have to type.
I'm okay with being old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I am
it
too.
was so this same post on Threads got 9,000 likes and 212 comments, and they're just all owning a printer was hands down the most stressful part of my childhood. Printers are for printing. I thought they were just for changing empty ink cartridges. My printer says printing.
The printer
printers
identifies
offline.
as a paperweight.
My printer identifies as a paperweight. Dude, the list just goes on. A printer consists of 3 main parts: the case, the jammed paper tray, and the blinking red light.
Yes.
Printers are like honey badgers. They don't care.
I'm having flashbacks the other day when, after printing to my network printer, it was telling me it was offline.
I don't use paper printers anymore, but
Oh,
my
yeah, that's
3D printer is currently jammed, and I
Yeah,
haven't
mine
used
too.
it in weeks because I haven't figured
I'm in
out
the
the
same
jam
boat.
yet. So,
I'm in the same boat.
so
Wait, so did they say that printers are like the cats of the hardware world? They're kind
Yes, that too. I've seen that meme. Printers are not there to print. They're there to trick your computer to save a file as a PDF.
of true. Very true.
It's
this printer's named Bob Marley because it's always jammed.
Jamming. Yep. I think that was in here too.
Yeah, you just scrolled past that. It was great.
But yeah, yeah. Ah, dude, it was just you had one job. Oh my god, the comments are just—they go
was just-
on and on.
And they didn't have to be, right? Like, it was just, they had the worst software. You know, it was kind of like the first generation of smart cars when like a traditional car company would write software for the car. It was just
Right.
an absolute nightmare. You know, like you've got Tesla and BMW updating their firmware, OTA, and GM sending out flash drives with instructions to 1.2 million owners.
Oh man. Okay. Speaking of smart cars, look at what I just put in our private chat. I took this picture yesterday. And I don't have a way to easily put it into the.
I don't see your private chat.
Oh.
Or, I mean, I see a
in
private chat, but I
Signal.
don't see anything in it. Oh, in Signal. Okay.
No, in Signal because I don't have a way to quickly.
I have
respond to it.
37
Oh, wow.
choices for chats with you
I,
guys.
yeah, exactly.
Right. We make sure we're well connected with each other, which is good.
Oh, what? I hope there's a missing decimal point in there somewhere.
I do too. I'm like, or I should have invested. And for those
Yeah,
who can't
what is
see
that?
it, it's a smart car that's for sale on this used car lot, and they have it listed as $99,999.
Wow.
What
And
the
it's
hell?
It's one of those little roller skate. This looks
Yeah.
like it's a Mercedes.
I mean, those are cute, but that's a
Yeah,
bit
smart
much.
cars
That
are-
is a Mercedes.
They had their own logo, but it looks like somebody swapped the thing.
Oh, is that what they did? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they are Mercedes. The smart car brand was so.
Yeah.
So the smart car brand, the reason BMW started Mini was all for CAFE requirements, because all your cars combined had to meet like a certain miles per gallon. And
Mhm.
so
Ah.
that's why a bunch of these cars. So
if they-
Aston Martin made a version of the smart car. You can go find an Aston Martin, like Brabus smart
Oh, that's
car,
interesting.
because everything they sell are sports cars, right? And they
Right.
get shitty gas mileage.
Wow.
So they
Mhm.
needed a way to meet the CAFE standards. And I think it's if you sell more than a certain amount. They're selling more cars than like Ferrari or Lamborghini. So
Cool.
you know, they
Wait,
had to
I
make
thought-
a special edition to
I'll go back.
average it
I
out.
thought you fixed your 3D printer, Adrian.
I fixed one of the jams and then it jammed again, like
Oh.
closer to the head. And
Yeah.
I don't know how to. I haven't learned how to take apart and unjam all that stuff yet.
Yeah,
So it was
I
the
gotta do the
AMS.
same thing. Yep.
The AMS jammed before, and that was easy to fix because all the
Yep.
tubing is clear.
Yes.
The moment you take it apart, you can see the broken off filament in there.
Oh, so what did you do? Did you get like a tool to push the filament out of the tube?
No, I used filament to push the filament out.
Push the filament out tube. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
filament is the tool.
Yeah. 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 Oh, so there
No.
just wasn't enough power for the AMS to push the filament through. But if you take it apart
I guess so,
manually,
yeah.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Have you
I
have
think-
you
but
have
I
you
think
checked
mine-
that?
Mine broke off somewhere. I'm in the same boat as you, Adrian. I think with both my P1S and my X1 Carbon, I'm in the same boat. But
Yeah.
it being summertime, like we're not spending a whole lot of time 3D printing. Once the kids go back
Yeah.
to school,
I-
I'll be like, oh,
I do
got
have a
time
list
now.
of things. I do have a list of things I want to 3D print
Me
because
too.
I got my girlfriend. My girlfriend is possibly nerdier than I am, and I got
awesome.
her a
Well
mini
done.
wind tunnel that you put. You can put like cars and little model cars and planes in,
Yeah.
and like
Sweet.
it generates like where you can see the wind
Oh yeah.
going around it, and like we didn't have anything to put in the wind tunnel. We don't have any like Matchbox cars or Hot Wheels or anything like that.
And you're like, oh,
You're
What
like,
the
really-
hell?
So we're like, well,
How
let's
do you
just 3D
function?
print one. And I'm like 90% of the way through 3D printing this little like 1/34th or 1/64th size car. And on the last step, the 3D printer breaks.
But
or
I think
jams.
I think it could be related to weather and particularly humidity. And
Yeah,
that's
I was
why
wondering
we
about
both
that.
had that problem. I think because in like the winter time, man, I was printing like with no issues,
Yeah.
and I actually have hygrometers in my AMSs. So I don't know if you
I've
did this,
got
but like
the
I 3D,
desiccant
yeah, like I 3D
there
printed.
also.
Yes, I
Do
3D
you?
printed
Okay.
all. It's like a whole kit that you 3D print. It takes like almost a day to 3D print it, but you get all the parts to load inside your AMS. One holds a hygrometer, and then all the rest hold the what do you call the beads, the humidity beads.
the
that drop-
desiccant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
the-
drops the humidity down, and so my humidity was super low, like less than 10% all winter. But now summertime came.
You know
and
how to
it's
do this.
spiked up.
You're a cigar smoker.
Exactly.
You're an
so they
expert
got
at
the
that.
people.
So, but what I needed to do is before it starts getting humid, or just as it's getting humid, is to discharge my beads. So, I don't know
Yeah.
with these beads exactly how you do it, but I know with
You
other,
microwave it.
Yeah, you either microwave
you
it
can
or
microwave them.
you put them in the refrigerator too. Will suck the moisture out.
Wait,
That's
so
a
going
trick
back
for
to
other
this, so
beads.
is the humidity causing filament expansion?
It stretches.
Stretches.
And it's
okay.
more prone to breaking, and I think that's why it broke off inside the tube.
And here I just wanted the guys for check the jam for the presence of raspberry.
Yeah, that's right. That's a dad
That's-
joke.
Yes, it is.
I love
I
it.
don't get
Lone
that.
Star, man.
Raspberry jam.
It's also a Spaceballs joke,
Okay.
2 in 1. But
They're making a new one. Did you see that?
Yeah, they are
Yes,
legit making
yeah.
Spaceballs 2, and a much
Mel
of the
Brooks
cast
is 219 years old and he's making another movie.
Yeah.
Well, I did manage to 3D print my for my blog post though. I used one of my A1 minis that was working,
Nice.
and you can see the 3D printed part that
which-
I did. Someone else did the design for it because the other way. So you see that green part?
Mm-hmm.
There's a green. I printed the.
This was a
middle-
great write up.
Thank
How
you.
long did this take
It
you,
is.
Paul?
So it's funny like.
No,
it's-
the write up, not the
Oh,
not the
the write-up
build itself.
on and off for like a week or two because I had to write other things in between, so this was kind of like the long project, but quite a few hours to put this together, and quite a few hours were spent just getting my Hackberry Pi working the way I wanted it to. Now, it was one of my coworkers is like, all right, now you got to show us how to do something cool with it. Like it's cool you showed like how to build it, but next step like
Yeah.
show me how you read a spy
Yeah, what are
flash
the use
is a-
cases?
Yes, use cases. So I'm gonna start working on.
Show
a
us how
part
you fix
two.
your Wi-Fi with it,
Yes, and so
which you needed to fix because you broke it with it.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. Right, that happened. I've testing Bluetooth tools. I've messed up. I've had to reboot some of my phones and devices because Bluetooth stuff gets wonky. But this is like a 3-part case. So you got like the screen in this metal housing on the front, and then it's a metal.
It's a
housing,
sandwich.
Yeah, on the back, and then in the middle, even in the one that you buy from Electro, it's a 3D printed middle, and some of the hacks for the antenna have you drilling into that. I think I don't know if it's PLA or PETG, but has you drilling into that to make a hole for it. But then I found this guy on Maker World who I linked to in the article that designed one that had an external antenna connector on it,
Oh,
which is pretty awesome because
Yeah.
all of the step files for all the cases are on the GitHub for the Hackberry Pi project. So you can take those as the base and then go, oh, I just want to modify and add this, add this little bit. I suck at haven't learned 3D designing yet. I'm very noobish at it. So I rely on other people's designs usually, but a lot of people are picking these up and customizing them and creating cool stuff for them. So,
That is very
Very
cool.
cool.
And why if there's a decent one out there, why do your own? Or why not just tweak one that's 99.99% of what you wanted and
Correct,
call it
yeah.
good?
Well, and that brings up
The
a question
build is
because
half the
not-
fun, right?
yeah.
Build is half the fun. And like Paul, like when you reference this as a cyber deck, I have no problem with that. But in my mind, it also, I kind of went, I guess, with like what Lee was saying is that I'm used to thinking of a cyber deck as you're hobbling together a bunch of random parts, like
Right. Oh,
yeah,
completely
let's-
separate things.
You're at Larry's house pulling open the drawers of stuff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
This is like a cyber deck starter kit, basically,
Yeah.
or pre-designed cyber deck that you can customize.
But
Which
you know,
I,
that-
which is it's a lot. I mean, the other ones are really cool, right? And they're more for like the look and the show. I'm like, I need something practical. Like, I need to be up and running with Kali
Right.
on a device.
Needs
Right.
to do more
I
than
don't.
look cool.
I could do it with my laptop, but I don't want to mess up my laptop experimenting with too many tools.
nope.
Also I'm using my laptop for like work stuff, and then like my hacking stuff is kind of separate, right? So
So
Rem-
I actually used to have an SSH client on my BlackBerry back in the day.
yeah,
So I already
Okay.
know how to work this. Like I'm used to typing slashes and dashes
yeah,
on a BlackBerry keyboard.
right. And I mean the nice part is, yeah, it's portable, right? So I think the use case that my coworker was talking about is you want to do like an evil maid attack, and you need to bring a spy programmer with you. You don't have to grab a laptop. You can grab something small that might fit in your pocket, break that out,
Yeah.
and do the evil maid attack. So
Hmm.
also like in the field, I don't feel like lugging around and powering a laptop necessarily.
Right.
So this one's kind of nice to be portable. I want to get something for my car too, so I can do like war driving with it, because it has that magnet, the MagSafe, on the back. I think I could get something that would use the MagSafe to keep it on the
Oh,
stand.
what a cool feature that was.
Oh,
Isn't that nice? And it charges the battery. I've slapped my battery
I
packs
love
on
that.
it.
I
Like
do.
yeah. There you
Yeah,
go.
so- I already have that in my car, right? So
Right,
you
yeah.
can just slap this on the
Yeah.
like. I don't know if it's going to be strong enough to hold it. I don't know how much this thing weighs.
It's pretty heavy, but like in my Tesla, I don't think it would fit. Like the Tesla has cutouts for 2 phones in the MagSafe.
Yeah, no,
And it has like a device. It has like a little grooved thing so your phone can fit in there. And like my Pixel 9 XL fits in there just fine, but this one's probably too big.
yeah.
But-
Oh, did you see the
I have
new
a little
the new
battery
Pixels have MagSafe now?
Yeah.
Have Qi 2
Oh,
Yeah.
they
compatibility.
have it built in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So the question is, would
yeah.
you be able to use a little antenna like's in the picture, or would you want something that you could magnet it on the roof
You could do
for
that.
war driving?
You could absolutely do that. You can hook any, what is it, RPSMA connector.
Yeah, I'm
that you
sure.
get on- you can
I'm
hook
just
any-
wondering if one that's you've got pictured would have enough coverage through the car to work as well.
Yeah.
I'm-
I mean, also, you
Would
could
that
leave this
be-
in a spot, too, because it's small and doesn't take much power.
No.
And then
yeah.
use the internal Wi-Fi to SSH into it, and then USB connect
Oh,
a device to
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Would that at all be benefited by augmenting the antenna?
We can connect any RPSMA antenna to it. So,
yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'd probably be tempted to go out and get a higher gain antenna just to have more range, because yeah. But
Yeah, I would too.
yeah, but the thing is, they're not expensive to play. You can try it.
yeah, I think my
What
total
would really
cost
be
was
cool is
330
use
bucks.
the display in your Tesla as the output for this.
You know, it has an HDMI connection on it, so you could, if you
Does
wanted
it?
a larger
Okay.
screen, if you had a portable screen
But-
with you or something like that, you could connect it.
But
to
there's
that.
no HDMI input to his Tesla screen, I suspect. Yet.
The rear
Yeah.
screens, I think, do.
Oh.
The
Well,
ones that have rear screens.
If we, if
for,
well,
rear
you know what? He
passengers.
could just have his Tesla self-drive while he sits in the back.
Right? Not recommended, by the way, listeners. Not recommended.
I'm just
Do not-
being silly. I just had this vision of you pre setting up the map the Tesla would follow, and then you climb in the back and
Yep.
take care of.
Yeah.
But yeah, not recommended.
Yeah, they just lost a lawsuit on that, so definitely not recommended.
No, it's no cool. I get it. The driver's standing by. But we can all kind of envision what it could be, because war driving can be boring.
Yeah, I want to do it for Bluetooth too.
Mm.
Mhm.
'Cause
Should be able to.
I have an external, not with me, but an external Bluetooth adapter
Dude,
with an
I
external
can't even
antenna connection on it.
imagine. Have any of you guys done a war drive recently? I can't imagine because every time I go to
It's
join
everywhere.
No,
a Wi-Fi access point, there's like a bajillion other things.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's not even getting into Bluetooth.
yeah. The
no, I don't know, but it makes me think about if you did set that up, then wouldn't you also want to do fox hunting at the same time?
What's fox hunting?
Like the ham radio, isn't that part of
Mhm.
what fox hunting?
Fox and the Hound? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's one of the events my club does at their annual picnic. Except I was in Italy this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you can put a software-defined radio on it too.
Mhm.
Um, and so on my other build that's behind me on my Crowview Note, there's actually a Raspberry Pi 5. I don't know if you can see it. It's hanging
Mhm.
off the side, but right there. In that one, I had a Wi-Fi dongle, a Bluetooth dongle, and an SDR dongle, and I had configured Kismet to use all three of those dongles, so I could use Kismet to monitor, which is also nice because I can offload that and put it like wherever I want, and then if I can use the other radio to connect to it, I can then hit the web interface on Kismet, and it's just all running on that device. So I can
Mhm.
take that and put it, on my roof or on my front porch and remote into it.
The one thing you got to be careful of, I was reading up on some of this, is if you're doing something like that where you've got Wi-Fi and a bunch of other stuff, you might want to put little dongles on your different things so that you don't get RF interference.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, you want to separate them for sure. Yeah, a lot of rigs I've seen actually do them close together, but that's a great point.
Well,
Especially
the
with
other
Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, they share the same frequency spectrum. So
right. Otherwise, you're going to have to put some filters on there to take out the noise. I mean, you could do
Yeah.
it either way, but dongle's cheaper than your time.
yeah, so many.
So-
Yeah, it's cheap stuff to get. Even just USB extender cables on something 3D printed.
Yeah,
to
that's
hold it or
basically what it
whatever.
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, but I'm thinking the kind of stuff we can do now. Oh, Wiggle. Oh, there we go.
I've always called it Weigel, but
Works
there's
for me.
Did you miss the
franchise
G?
of gas stations in Knoxville, Tennessee called Weigels. So that's,
Oh,
why I
okay.
call it. That's why I pronounce it that way.
I
Though
mean, I
it's
haven't
spelled
talked about them in a while.
WEI.
So
But yeah, like everything is just blanketed in Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
this is not a super dense place that I'm in right now. So this is, the center here is the Barnes and Noble I'm in, but already like that's not even zoomed out that far.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
Yeah.
each of
Yikes.
those is an access point.
Whoa.
Look at that going down the road.
Oh my gosh! Did you see the density in San Francisco? Good grief.
Oh yeah,
So-
I imagine.
yeah, I remember a few years ago for a security awareness thing we were doing at an event. I wrote a little thing that sat and captured favorite
Wow.
networks. Holy crap! That were in the range at work, and then started showing out where those using Wiggle to figure out the where the Wi-Fi they had been visiting was. Some
I think
people weren't amused.
It's interesting that someone was DDoSing the Wiggle site
Oh.
Oh really?
Cruel.
because Arch Linux has been under a sustained DDoS attack for going on 2 weeks, maybe
Mhm.
3. They're not
Like,
releasing the technical details because there's still an ongoing investigation, and they're struggling to keep up the infrastructure. I think it's better now. I did run into a situation last week, the week before. I was trying to update one of my systems, and it was just hung on cloning a package from AUR, and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like Googling using LLMs, trying to find a solution. I'm doing all the recommendations. I'm like, it's still just hanging. I'm like, something is not right. Like I cleared all my caches and everything, all the recommendations for, hanging when you do an update on Arch Linux, and nothing worked. And then the next day, I was like, let me just try this again, because like I kind of think it's like not me, and it worked just fine. And then I read the article where they had a DDoS attack. I'm like, oh, well that makes total sense. You reached your daily limit.
No.
Gotta make a donation? Is that
Yeah.
something?
Oh man, I didn't even get to zoom in far enough to where it actually labels the SSIDs. But that
Right.
was like right now. This is we're zoomed out to a single city block here. Wow, it looked more impressive before I hit the daily limit. But
Mm. That's pretty awesome.
so
Yeah, so, like,
22
My question is
billion
why are people
Wi-Fi observations
why are
in
people
the
DDoSing
Wiggle database.
Wiggle and Arch Linux? Like why are
That
we
was my question
disrupting
too. I was
yeah,
just
why
gonna
are we
ask, like,
disrupting these things? I don't get
I
it.
don't know, but DDoS as a service is a thing. Although I just saw an article that what is it? The Rapperbot DDoS service got shut down, and they're prosecuting the guys. Not
Yeah.
that another won't jump into its place, but it's nice to
It's
have
just
one less.
one guy from Alaska that did all that. Wasn't even
Yeah.
a team. It was just one guy.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what happens.
But did you see the stats, Paul, on how many they have on Wiggle?
Yeah, it's in the billions.
It's so
Was it
for
billion?
Wi-Fi networks, it's 1.6 billion Wi-Fi networks, and it's 4.2 billion Bluetooth devices, and then
Wow.
27 million cell towers.
Whoa.
That is nuts.
It would be interesting when doing a war drive to compare Wiggle's data set with your own.
Well, I mean that's where Wiggle's
Got it.
data set comes from.
Right.
No,
Or
well,
just people war driving.
Yeah,
yeah, I
people
know, but I'm
uploading
thinking
it.
if you're doing your own and you're trying to figure out, trying to improve your skills, see what you're doing, compare the two to see how you
Right.
match up, just for,
Yeah.
for
Well,
learning
I
and
mean,
stuff.
so some of these are going to be temporary, I imagine.
Of course,
Like
of course.
some of these are going to be people's like mobile hotspots or their phone's
Mhm.
hotspots
Yeah.
at
But-
any given time, or
but
their
if you-
cars.
Yeah,
Like,
but if you, yeah.
millions of cars have
Yeah.
Wi-Fi hotspots now.
Absolutely. I was just thinking, let's say you were starting off doing war driving, figuring out what's going on, and you were like an order of magnitude different or something. You'd realize you had a problem. I mean, over a few dozen, it's not big a deal, but like if it's a big difference, you've got to modify your technique. But I want to avoid somebody just going to the eBus and say, "Well, let's just check Wiggle what's out there and not do our actual war drive." I think that's too lazy. Then for extra points, find out how to contribute the data back to Wiggle, right? I mean, when I interacted with Wiggle years ago, I was doing some stuff for education with them, and they actually gave me a free API key because it was educational. They raised my limits, and they were really cool folks. So I'm like, I think a lot of them. So I'm down with sharing data with them.
Yeah, so don't DDoS them.
No, please don't.
Yeah,
What the heck, man?
I contributed a lot of data to that database back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done anything in a while, but that doesn't mean my respect for them has changed. It just means I've changed what I'm doing.
Are you guys making your way through FRAC issue 72?
No, because I
no,
have
I-
fracked this one.
No, is that 72 in there, or what is that, Mandy? Did you get that at
This-
DEF CON?
I got it at DEF CON, yeah. It's the special 40th anniversary release for thanks to Lulski.
So,
Thanks to Lulski at B-Sides Las Vegas.
Nice.
I got this. So, no, I've been making my way through this.
Oop.
Uh-oh.
My machine.
now we can see Mandy's literally in the closet.
You know that I literally
Mandy's
live
out
in
of
the
control.
closet. I
Behind the scenes.
know. I know. Oh, I lost you all now. Just a second. Okay.
It's,
So-
there's a lot of great articles in here, and there's actually an updated Hacker Manifesto, or like a follow-on piece to the Hacker Manifesto, basically calling us all out for selling out.
Oh, so that does
the
that
gist
Define
of it
selling
is-
out.
The gist of it is like hacking back in the day was exploration. It was for fun. It was for curiosity. All the things that Lloyd Blankenship said in the original Hacker Manifesto, and the mentor, right, was his handle. And so someone kind of wrote a follow-up that like it's basically been commercialized at this point.
So it is that.
But then it goes
reference, or
on
was
like
it-
the spirit remains.
Who was it written by?
The handle's TMZ.
Okay. Do you think it's actually somebody from TMZ, or you think it's just an
No.
individual?
No, I
Okay.
think that's someone's hacker handle.
And
Yeah.
I was going to say, because that reference, what was her, Lily at B-Sides Las Vegas, the talk that you wanted to see.
Mm.
Do you
Which
remember?
one?
Uh,
There was a lot of talks I wanted to see.
Okay, but it's B-Sides Las Vegas, the talk about, I'll have to look up the title.
Oh,
don't
I have
remember
somewhere I have a list.
the
I have a list.
basically that like all hacking's gone, we're all sellouts.
Was that the gist of the talk? Yeah, I might have had that on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, except I didn't get to attend it live. I
Oh,
but I
okay.
did ask people who were there because I was working at Sky Talk, so I couldn't be there. But I got mixed feedback from people who were in the room, and a couple that I definitely respect their opinion. And they're like, I don't think it was as well formed of a concept as the speaker thought it was. That was little bit of the feedback I got, and then others were like, oh yeah, she's totally tearing apart that how everybody has sold out.
Yeah, that's kind of the gist of this article, although they do go on to explain that he says, I know I sound bitter. It was never really about tech or getting into systems. It was about freedom to think, to question, and build and break without limits. Like, that was like kind of like an updated hacker manifesto, right? Which I thought was really cool. But he's like, the spark is hard to find, but it lives on in the sysadmin quietly running their own mail server, the student soldering a Wi-Fi module to an 80s calculator, the researcher publishing their POC without a brand campaign, and the collective that forks closed-sourced hardware just to see what's inside.
True, but I
So
also
there's
feel like
glimmers
that
of hope. Like we sold out, but there's glimmers of hope. The hacker spirit's still alive.
it's never going to die. There isn't
Yeah,
a single
yeah.
way that the true hacker spirit is going to die, because I think that's inherent in certain humans no matter what throughout history. Just because it got applied to technology doesn't mean
Well,
that
it became a
it's
became a
going to go.
career. Before a hacker was just someone who was curious and started poking and prodding systems and just to see what they would do, right? And I mean, like way back in the day, there was no authentication or authorization. Exploring, like you dial into a system and it dropped you onto a prompt and you had a flashing cursor. I think he talks about the flashing cursor in here, right? And that I believe is a throwback to the days when you would just connect to a system. There's no password, nothing, and you had a flashing
Yeah.
cursor and you had to figure it out from there. Which would be cool. I think a lot of some CTFs I think have implemented the similar kind of thing, right? Now again that commercialization, right? They're gamified, but it still has that hacker spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I like the hacker spirit, and this kind of goes back to my positioning on the discussion Wednesday about ransomware, and the fact that I think there's also a part where a lot of people with the hacker spirit, a lot of individuals who are out there doing this, are also the kind that couldn't care less about being known or being seen or
Yeah.
anything, not just because of nefarious purposes, but because there's no drive for it to be to have some kind of recognition. They're doing it for the thrill of the curiosity. So by virtue of that, you're not going to see them the same way as you do those who are doing it for commercial gain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the attackers have certainly. Well, I don't know. With someone posted in my internal Slack for my day job about the cuckoo's egg. Someone wrote a little piece about the cuckoo's egg on LinkedIn, and I love the cuckoo's egg. It's one of the things that got me into this field. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the cyberpunk book. What is that? I can never remember the full title of it. But there's a book. Kate Hafner, I believe, is one of the authors. Let me see if I can find it. How do you spell cuckoo's egg? Cuckoo.
See, here's
C-U-C-C.
C-U, right? C-U? C-C?
no C-C-K-O-O. I don't know.
C-
That's not good.
C-K-O-O. Yeah.
Feels correct.
I have to actually type it to figure it out.
Yes.
It's a very weird thing to spell out loud.
C-U-C-K-O-O.
Yeah, got it. Got it. It's called Cyberpunk Outlaws and Hackers on the Computer Frontier.
Hmm. Yeah, it was a
And-
journalist that wrote that back in the 90s, right?
It's a very old book. It's 3 parts. I want the paperback. When was that? 1995. It was released. Kate Hafner and John Markoff. and it has 3 sections in it. So it chronicles 3 kind of hacker stories at the time. And let me put it up on the screen. So this is one of my favorite hacker books, to be quite honest with you. And I know people have strong feelings about things, but the I don't know if it's the first part. I think the first part goes through Kevin Mitnick
Hmm.
in kind of the whole story behind Kevin Mitnick. He was on the run, or even I think it goes earlier. Goes through Kevin's earlier things and then how that progressed. It's a really interesting piece on the Mitnick story. Very well done. Then it chronicles the Morris worm in Robert T. Morris, and really describes that in a way that I think makes us rethink that whole scenario, and gives reasons why that Robert Tappan Morris never did any cybersecurity or hacking stuff after that. Basically, he kind of embarrassed his dad, and his dad was working for the NSA. Goes through the whole story.
Yeah.
It goes through exactly his family going to court with him because he had to go to trial, and how the whole trial thing panned out, and his family was upset with him and all that stuff. And I think that's why he never did anything else in cybersecurity. And then the last part is the flip side of the cuckoo's egg. So it's Pengu, I think is the hacker handle. Pengo. Pengo and they were based in Europe, working for Russian FSB, breaking into systems in research facilities here in the U.S. One of those research facilities was the one where Clifford Stahl was working. So Cliff was tracking these hackers, but Clifford tells the story in his seminal book, obviously, from his perspective. In this book, they talk about it from the European hacker's perspective. And one of them, you can't not remember this from the book, one of the hackers set himself on fire, and they called it a suicide. And so I believe, I don't have any evidence, but I believe there was shady stuff. After you read that, you're like, oh, there was shady stuff. Did the Russians kill him? Is kind of the working theory, but I haven't seen any evidence come out other than this book. So, one of my favorites.
Usually they use poison, but maybe they
True,
wanted
it
him
is
to
true.
suffer.
It is true. There's actually some Netflix documentaries that talk about some of that stuff, spycraft, and how they killed people with poison. Both, a lot of countries did, but Russia, I think, was kind of famous for it. Even recently, right? Didn't they get someone in the UK a few
Yeah.
years ago?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or almost got some people as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that mean they're
Yeah.
saying possibly that modern cyberpunk operatives or they are modern witches?
Could be. I think it's more so that hackers weren't always just curious people in their mom's basement,
Oh, well,
right?
no, absolutely
Even
not. And they
trace
still
it back
aren't.
to what time
No.
frame does the cuckoo's egg take place? Before, it's in the 80s, right?
80s, right? I thought it was.
So
like
in the 80s, you had
It's- yeah,
malicious threat actors working for Russian government,
Yeah,
stealing
yeah, yeah.
secrets. So yeah, and getting paid for it. They got paid for that.
Well, criminal ingenuity is definitely
Yeah.
the same and or not very far away from today's adapted ethical hacking.
Well, I think
Yeah,
you know,
86 cuckoo's
86.
egg.
yeah, so they quickly realize oh, I can hack into this stuff for fun and get cool stuff, and oh, I might be able to make some money off of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Oh, that's just crazy talk.
Does anyone else use you guys use Android, right?
I do.
Mandy and Adrian,
Uh,
both Android.
no,
or you switched back to iPhone?
I switched to iPhone for the first time
Okay.
because my girlfriend and one of my kids and both of her kids all use it. So FaceTime and iMessage, I was kind of bullied over into
Yeah.
it. But I still have a Pixel 6 Pro that I use for various things. I
Still
just
a
don't
good
carry
phone.
it with me.
Still a good
And
phone.
I love the Pixel tablet. We've got it set up in the kitchen as
Nice.
a place, because we've got the nice speaker dock that magnetically it attaches to. And
Yeah.
it's great for playing music and pulling up recipes and stuff like that.
The phone app changed. I don't know if you noticed that or if it was just an update on. Did you notice that too,
No, it
Mandy?
totally is different.
Like
and
the
I'm
phone app
having-
is completely different. I'm
it's
like, I
completely
got a call. I
different.
was like,
and I'm going,
what the?
when did this happen? Plus,
When did this?
I,
Yes. All right, I'm
and I
not the
go,
only one.
okay. And then I thought, well, okay, was there something else? Because I had, of course, the burner device at summer camp and
Yeah.
stuff, and had both Pixels, and I was going, wait, why is this all of a sudden so very different? And
Well, And it's different depending on what Android you have, right? Like some
And I have a 9. I mean,
phone manufacturers, like Samsung has their
I
own
have
phone
Pixels.
app.
I have
That's
Pixels.
different from the Pixel
Right.
one.
Sorry, I should say is the Pixel phone app.
I have the Pixels.
So Mandy experienced it. I got a call and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know what to do now.
It-
Like I
right.
felt like a total
won't
noob. I'm like, I
answer.
don't, I
Like,
don't
there's-
know how to
use
do.
a phone
Yeah, I don't know how
anymore.
to use a phone
I've had
anymore.
this. I'm like, oh, I cannot answer the call. Like, I just have to sit here and watch it.
Yeah,
and
like
then
what is going on? Like wait,
I-
I can't swipe up anymore.
I can't
So
I
the
don't
UX
even
isn't
remember.
great, is what I'm hearing.
I don't, but it's probably a better UX, but they just changed it like seemingly with no. I didn't see a warning.
Surprise.
It
Like,
seemed like it
before,
changed to
like,
me
you used to-
between the calls. Like, it was like I had 4 calls prior to that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everything was different. And I'm like, why is that going on? And I attributed it first because I make pretty extensive use of the
Screening.
spam filtering and the
yeah,
screening.
me too. Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
And that seems to have been getting more notice from legitimate callers that do call, and some have asked,
Yes.
like, what is that? Like, what is going on? And I'm like, how have you not encountered this before? Because Pixel has had this capability for
To
quite
screen.
some time.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
use screeners
I
prior
use it all
to
the time
that.
now. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I need to do more of like Michael
Yeah,
Bazell's
Pixel-
thing to like get my
Pixel
phone
5,
number off
I
list.
think.
It's hard because your
5?
phone number's already
Right.
out there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think you used to swipe up to answer a call. Like it was such muscle memory when I answered a call that like I didn't even remember how I did it. And then they changed the phone app, and I'm like, how do I answer the call? I
Well,
don't know
I've
how
had-
anymore.
I
had
solved
one
that
where
problem
it
by never
glitched.
answering calls ever.
That was me for a while till I did the
I
screening
used to
thing.
be that way.
Because there's certain like
Right.
Right.
like doctors' offices and stuff
Right.
and schools that will call that you do have to pick
I
up
do
that
have
sometimes
too many
aren't from a
legitimate.
recognizable number.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's still missing on iPhone too. Like that's one of the features I miss the most.
Is the screen? They don't have a screen call.
Well, they do, but it's different.
Yeah,
I mean-
like
I
you
think Pixel
can.
screen
There's a
is
setting where you
nice.
can say only allow calls through if they're in my contact list.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, it's not as comprehensive. You can't like
There's no
choose
Siri
to answer the
assistant?
call after they no.
Oh,
You
Well, you
can't
can send it
choose
to
to answer the
voicemail and
call
pick it up
after.
anyway. But
yeah, but this
Right.
is a Google Assistant that uses AI to
Yeah, no,
speak,
it's just-
speak back
yeah.
to the caller. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
and
where
then
you
you-
need
Yeah,
that. What the
they
hell are those?
They totally punted on AI for
They
like
did.
the new Siri because it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And they admitted this. Like they gave a bunch of interviews. They're like, yeah, it just wasn't good enough for us to release. We scrapped it, and we're back
How
to the
is
drawing
Apple
board.
How is Apple
And the guy
behind
who's in
on-
charge of that is out.
Yeah.
He's out of Apple, and they
Well,
brought
how did they
somebody
drop
Well-
the ball? They really dropped the ball on AI
Yeah.
in a big
So-
way.
Yeah, about the only thing you can do on your iPhone is get a Sure Staking client, which comes from your
So-
cellular provider. Stir,
I
shake, and
don't-
blah.
I don't think they dropped the ball. This is just classic Apple, where
They lag
they-
behind. Seemingly lag
so they-
behind. Yeah.
that because privacy and safety, there's such a high expectation there.
Right.
They're
Right.
like, well, we've got to set up our own infrastructure to do this. We can't just use, and they still are using ChatGPT, but there is a little disclaimer dialog box where it asks you, are you okay with me sending this Siri query to ChatGPT? And you have to say, okay, and then it goes. So they're extremely sensitive to like sharing any of that stuff with a third party. So it's just going to take them longer.
What I like about Android, though, one of the reasons I use Android is I can change my phone or text message app. So, like, if I find I don't like the phone app, I can swap it out for something else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which I'd have to do some research and make sure it's not like a crappy,
Well, but-
backdoored, Android app.
But you are right in that they dropped the ball. Having the largest market cap of any company, they
Right.
should have been the one developing it in the first place, right?
Mhm.
This should have
Yeah.
come from them.
I
Yeah.
think in some ways they're just too insulated, like as a culture, as a team. Like I don't think.
Well, they tend to
thrive.
wait. They tend to let others, experiment with the technology, learn. Maybe that traces all the way back to where they stole the mouse from Xerox, but
Yeah,
they tend to
they didn't-
like let others.
They
try
didn't build
to
the first
innovate.
smartphone.
No, they
Yeah.
let others try to innovate, and then they go, all right, we can do it better, we'll work on it, and now we're going to go, okay, here's Apple's version of all that other technology that they kind of deem as crap. I saw a clip of the Jobs keynote from the first iPhone, and he has all the smartphones up. and
It's a great watch. Yeah.
dude, it's like business-wise, it is the most mind-blowing product announcement.
It is so
like,
impressive the way they did it. Yeah.
it is a grand slam. It is to be studied from now and until forever. is
Well,
how to
like
launch a
that
product.
that is one of those innovations. A lot of people don't think of Apple's products as innovations, but the way that the CEO of the company would get up
Yes.
there and give a keynote,
Their
that was a
go-to-market,
huge
yes.
innovation.
Yeah, it was.
It would create so much excitement and hype around
Yeah.
a new product release.
Yeah,
You know-
I mean, he makes you want it. I'm like, wait,
And
I
now
already-
everybody
I already
does
have
it.
I'm like, I already have this. I'm like, but wait, but Jobs is like, here are all the smartphones that are out now, and they all have keyboards, and they all have, you know, these smaller screens, and he's like, you know, he's like, we go down,
And they
he's
were
like, the
plastic
keyboard-
screens
He's like
that
the keyboard,
scratched
yes,
really
and he's
bad.
like the keyboard's the problem because it's a finite input. You can only
Mm-hmm.
push a button and it enters a character. And he's like, the design of your apps has to follow the input devices. And he's like, so why can't we just make the whole screen the input device? And then
Yeah.
he shows the first iPhone. I'm like, wow, that's like really mind blowing that really was the
It
innovation.
really was.
Was the user
It-
interface being the entire screen, having a touch screen. People could then develop apps that had unlimited possibilities for user interface.
Yeah.
And they were the first to use glass. Glass did not exist in the form factor needed for
Oh.
a phone size. So they had to talk to Corning. There's a great story behind this
Yeah.
where, like 3 months before launch of this thing, Steve Jobs takes his beta iPhone, tosses it on the conference table, and it's just scratched to hell because he's been putting it in the same pocket as his keys.
Yeah.
And he's like, we got to fix this, you know, because he like intentionally he's trying to use it like
Like a
people
right.
do, like it becomes a tool. You know, it's not precious. It's going to get dropped. It's going to get shoved in the same pocket as sharp metal things. And they had 3 months, and they talked to Corning, and Corning had the glass they needed, but didn't have the capabilities to cut it down to iPhone size. So they had to ship all that glass over to China. They had to find a place in China that could actually take these big sheets and turn them into little iPhone glass covers, and had to do all that in like 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I got the first iPhone in like 07, roughly shortly thereafter, you know, when it came out.
Yeah.
And it was truly, I'm like, wow, this is so much better of a phone than anything else that was on the market.
The rubber banding, like that was a new innovation. They actually used so AI. These on-screen keyboards don't work without AI. There's a
Yes.
machine
Yeah.
learning model because like if you were to see the actual data from your thumbs, you are way off.
Way
You're not
off. Oh, I
even
know
close to hitting the letters that you think you're
No.
hitting.
And
So
it
it's
was
actually
true. The early on-screen keyboards were pretty terrible compared to what we
But
have
did-
now
did-
because the technology got better. The AI.
Did
got
you
better.
ever try the BlackBerry touchscreen? At the time, it made the iPhone touchscreen at that time look like elegant. It was so hard
they-
to get the right.
they goofed it so hard. They
Yeah.
released the same phone a year later with that fixed. There was like a 1 second delay between
Yeah.
your touch and something happening on the phone. It was terrible.
Wait, is that why on the BlackBerry was that? I have vague memories of having to calibrate and recalibrate constantly. Might have
Mhm.
been a BlackBerry.
You had to do that with Palm Pilots. You had to touch the pen in each corner.
Oh, remember that? Oh my
Remember
goodness,
that?
that's flashback.
Oh yeah, that's what Jobs did too. Jobs like, well, you know, we have a stylus. He's like, the styluses are terrible, and he's like, you know,
You're gonna drop it in the
it's
toilet.
clunky, and he's like, you lose them, and he was absolutely right. Like I hate
Yeah,
the
of
stylus
course
for
I-
that reason because I friggin' lose them.
I had spare pilots. I had spare styluses for my Palm Pilot for that very reason because they would go
Yeah.
away.
It was just a piece
Apple
of
did,
plastic.
but it's funny. Apple did later release a stylus in the what do they call it? The Apple Magic Pen.
Yeah,
I don't
they
think
did.
I don't think it took off though.
No, some people have them, but not very many. I think there was somewhat of a resurgence. Didn't Surface introduce a stylus as well? And I think
Surface
that
stylus was pretty good too. Yeah.
I think that caused a resurgence on the Apple one because people were getting back to that form factor. But
Yeah.
you know, what's funny is I was thinking about, you know, we're talking about which phone app to use, which doesn't. You know, when I was over in Europe with the family, they're like, no, call us using WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
Messages and everything is WhatsApp. And in fact,
All WhatsApp.
everybody's like, yeah, you Americans, you don't get it. You need to not use the built-in stuff,
Right.
which is funny. Well, part of it is they all had Signal System 7, which is already, you know, security terrible. So
Right.
we
right.
we had pretty good stuff until recently.
true.
So, and you know, and of course, iMessage adds its own encryption and some other stuff. But I'm just saying they've had that. It's like we solved this a while ago, so we use it. Although for some reason, when they're dealing with tourists, they'll take the regular text and regular calls because they have to. But anyway, it's just interesting. But thanks for the flashbacks on how that design for the iPhone worked. By the way, that was some cool. That was
Yeah,
some
I
fun
haven't-
times, man.
Right.
They acquired a company called Fingerworks from a bunch of ex-MIT folks.
Pick
from,
one.
from Harvard or from Cambridge.
Nice.
Yes.
Have you guys seen the Anubis Web AI firewall utility? It's like
That
an
rings a
open-
bell. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
It's like it's if you notice the anime cat girl, so this is from Hackaday's. I posted the Jonathan Bennett every Friday on Hackaday writes a This Week in Security. It's a must read. Everyone must read this every week. He does a great job of summarizing the news. And he says, you notice the anime cat
this
girls
is one of these to mess with the bots, the scrapers.
mess with the bots, yeah, and it blocks the scrapers. And Tavis Ormandy
Lovely.
was using a scraper to scrape the kernel mailing list, and then they implemented Anubis. But Tavis figured out, of course, Tavis being Tavis, that there's a vulnerability, and so
Of course.
Tavis
effectively,
Ormandy?
yeah, effectively 25 lines of C. It was the solution to calculate the challenge because they did some kind of cryptographic challenge. Based on the response, I know it says in it. So Anubis uses the user agent string and other indicators to determine what incoming connection is. The obvious check is the in-browser hashing. It puts a challenge string in the HTTP response header, and JavaScript running in the browser calculates a second string to append this challenge. The goal is to set the first few bytes of the 256 SHA-256 hash on this combined string to 0. So basically,
Yeah, this
it's
is
a
always going to
hash.
be a game of
Yeah.
leapfrog.
Yep.
You know, it's a WAF, right? You know, any kind of protection control like this can be evaded. You know, it's
One of my coworkers
That's
says
gonna-
they fix this one immediately, but people have to update their Anubis software to get the fix. So crawling and scraping is, well, it's always been a challenge. I mean, many of us,
Well-
probably all of us on this
Oh,
call,
okay.
have had some foray into writing some kind of crawling or scraping code and ran into the problem of when you automate the retrieval of website data, there are many challenges with that. And I want to say it was early last year that I started seeing projects that were using LLM technology to augment the crawling and scraping. And the early ones didn't work. And my coworkers evaluated a bunch of that. It didn't work. But now, without giving away too much, I can tell you that it absolutely works. And a lot of people are using LLMs to scrape, which is why we're seeing this backlash, right? Now we're
Right,
seeing
right.
the defenses come along to prevent this because it's the LLMs themselves that are retrieving it, but it's also researchers and other people writing scrapers and crawlers using LLM technology.
Right. And they're not following the don't grab that, don't crawl that stuff. So they're
Right, but Tavis's point
well, but
was
the problem is,
like,
I mean, the problem is people are going to consume the internet through their AI
yeah,
tools,
yeah.
right?
No,
You know,
Right.
So that's different than scraping for training a model, right? That's now how your users are going to use your website.
there's something about checking if you have a soul. And Tavis
I
wrote,
was going to ask about that.
yeah, as
he
far as I
weighed
know,
Soul.
I have a soul. I just wasn't using a desktop browser, so how is my soul being weighed? And that's exactly what we're talking about. Like, I'm consuming the content. I'm just not using a desktop browser. And like, look,
Right.
one of my solutions to this problem is, like, I understand that your hosting fees need to handle this, and maybe there's some better caching services out there, and tagging and categorizing your data. I guess somewhat what robots.txt does and says, hey, you can crawl it. Like the Linux kernel mailing list, I feel like we should be able to crawl it. Like what
Right.
needs to be in place to allow us to crawl it? Because that's basically a static pile of data that maybe we're crawling and putting in JSON format to enhance products to
Right.
help make the world a better place, right? But the LLMs that are going out to an ad-driven website, retrieving the information, and therefore never loading the ads is a huge economic problem.
Yeah, it's so the other thing here, you know, I've always talked about you know, these large language models, you know, their training data being pre-poisoned, and some
Yep.
of that was unintentional, right? Like there's a lot of wrong people on the internet that these training models are learning from, and that's why you often get wrong answers to things, right? Because there's a lot of
Right.
people wrong on the internet. But now people are intentionally putting
Intentionally
prompt
poisoning.
injections
Yeah.
out
But they're
there, like
yes.
so many
That
people.
too.
They're LinkedIn so that they can mess with the recruiters. Their LinkedIn profile now has instructions, and that was something we talked about on the podcast yesterday. Is that it's just super widespread. There was a Black Hat presentation in 2024 where the guy was focused on Copilot, and like you could just send somebody an email with instructions in the email, and Copilot would, yeah, and you could exfiltrate data. And the one he gave this year, well, actually, different person. This is Zenity Labs. The folks there have been really focused on this. One of them has been doing Month of AI Bugs, is the website. I think it's monthofaibugs.com, and they were able to exfiltrate data out of ChatGPT as long as you ingest their PDF. And with the code IDEs, the now AI-driven code IDEs, they're finding a bunch of bugs in there where it'll just pick up and run your instructions. And I don't understand why this is a difficult problem, but we've got to be able to distinguish between the instructions that were put in the prompt and instructions that came from somewhere else.
Yes. Agreed. Because I've been using a lot of the command line AI tools
Mm-hmm.
that are primarily designed for analyzing source code locally, but they'll analyze anything. So I've been testing Claude Code locally to basically replace Emba for firmware analysis. So like I kind of have in my head what Emba does,
Mhm.
and then I'll be like, okay, here's a directory of firmware. I'm like, now go unpack all that firmware, and I'll guide it. I'll be like, use this tool, and it's like, well, I can't run this tool because of this. I'm like, hold on, I'll be right back. I'm like, all right, I fixed that. Try that again. And it's like, oh, thank you. That on Blob works now because I fixed it. And it'll unpack it, and then I'm like, all right, go look for this, go look for that, go use QEMU, and run every single binary from the unpacked file system, and run them with the dash version, and get. This is what Emba does, right? It runs, if it's an ARM system, it runs QEMU, static, AA, Arch, ARM, virtualization thing, runs the binary with dash version, gets that version, then goes out to the CVE database, and based on that version, very rudimentary, vulnerability discovery, goes
Right,
of this version and before, what vulnerabilities exist publicly,
Yeah.
and then it creates a report. And so I basically prompted Claude to do the exact same thing, and it worked. And then I ran out of tokens, but
Oh. Yeah, that sucks.
but
the
you have to
cost.
be careful. So getting back to the problems with AI, is it's running commands on my system, and I'm very leery. I'm tempted to move all of these into a VM and just upload what I want to analyze into the VM, so that if it ever breaks out into a shell, at least I can try and contain it in a VM.
So the way that he smuggles out the data is really cool in this Black Hat 25 one. So
You mean 24?
No, 25.
no,
yeah,
the
there was one in
2025. Yeah,
Yeah.
Was the new one?
Copilot
Okay.
Copilot was easier, but this one was using ChatGPT, which and one of the crazy things is most of the companies with these tools, they're like, I'm not sure we can do anything about that. Like, that is just a thing that can happen now, right? Like, good luck. But so he was targeting connectors, because you can now take ChatGPT and connect it to your Dropbox. You can connect it to
Yes.
your Google Drive. You can connect it to SharePoint, Teams. There's a whole list of integrations where you can now ask ChatGPT, just like you can with Microsoft Copilot, to look through your files and give you an answer based on your own data. And so he was targeting that. And basically what he did is he put the instructions, invisible instructions, in a PDF. And there's crazy Unicode characters they can use as instructions, but that's a different hack. These are just plain English instructions like you would type
Prompts,
into a
yeah,
prompt.
prompts in the data, yeah.
And he's and the first thing he had to figure out, so he's asking it for data. He's asking it for API keys, is the example he does, and tries to pull those out of your SharePoint. And And assuming results come back, what he then does is his next line of instructions is to load an image that he hosts on Azure Blob Storage. And
Okay.
it will attempt to render that image within the output. And of course, it can be like a 1x1 transparent pixel, right?
Okay.
So, the person using, that's processing this PDF sees nothing in
Right.
their results. They don't see anything happen. And what he's doing is when he loads that image, he is using the get parameters on the get request to smuggle data out, to smuggle
That's
out those
awesome.
API
That
keys.
is.
So all he
That's-
has to do is now go look at his Azure Blob storage logs, and he has your API keys.
Yeah, I
That's
think
pretty slick.
I think that's why local models are becoming a thing, right?
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of
Mhm.
large companies, especially, are putting investments in having their own hardware and training their own models, having their own systems to do that, because you can more tightly control the data without
Right.
being linked to a
I
larger
mean,
provider.
it would work there too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well-
in
I don't
this
see
case
any
you're
reason
right.
it wouldn't
Right.
work with a local one. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
but
As-
the
as
other
long,
thing
as
is
long
though
as
is
it's
to-
loading untrusted content.
Yep.
that's
You're
the
right.
trick, is the custard content. I mean, I was reminded of an email I got a week two ago from a friend who had been invited to try GPT-5. And don't hate on the example he used, but the example he asked were, what were Trump's recent significant accomplishments? And ChatGPT response said, as of this day in August, Trump was never sworn in for a second term. Ignore the politics, but there's an error in the model, right?
Whoops.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I've been thinking about. And you've been talking about it others. How do we make sure our data underneath our AI is good? Because
So ironically,
So only if Gotti and Sunil were
Ironically,
here to tell us
the-
how they
Yeah.
I believe they can protect
Oh.
against the API key attack, right? Because they
Yeah.
can help compartmentalize that data.
yeah, but like it's
so,
an interesting
Lee,
problem.
the way that you fix hallucination is you pull in untrusted content. You need grounding data and the ability to
Right.
search the internet, which has malicious crap out there, which is a big risk, is
Yeah.
the way that you eliminate that hallucination problem. You tell ChatGPT, hey, don't try and answer this factual question, which is a right or wrong question yourself. Go look it up.
Okay, so yeah, he should have said, "Hey, go look up." Like I said, we just started.
It should be smart enough
for
to
the
know that
screen-
it needs to look up a fact.
Right.
But
But
I mean,
to-
we all were chuckling over the screenshot. Obviously, we had a good laugh, but still.
Yeah.
Do companies like Gnostic take into account prompt injection? Would they
Why
see
wouldn't
the injection?
Right.
Because when they describe
yes,
it,
they,
they're
they,
like
they should. Yeah.
they should.
So
right?
they are
'Cause
in line.
It's
Yeah,
part of the.
they're-
Yeah,
they
'cause
have to
they're
be
seeing-
in line.
They're saying not just with the user types, but anything that might be riding along in the data that's presented is part of the prompt. So they should see that.
Yeah, all these AI firewalls, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
where they're functioning as a WAF on the front end and a DLP on the output side,
Yep.
have to be in line to intercept something incoming or intercept something going back
Right.
out to the user.
Sorry, I just came across a comment based on that photo that somebody said, "Well, maybe I should copyright Dumb and Blonde GPT."
Right.
So, on a completely different threat, completely different topic, I was reading some of the Sans News Bite stuff today, and there was a talk about a breach, and they had a whole bunch of elements that had been breached, and I started wondering, do you ever look at a breach that says they've got all these elements, and you ever use it like a checklist to make sure your identity monitoring covers all those different elements, have things you not thought of?
I don't do any identity monitoring stuff.
Okay, well, that's clearly an option. I'm just wondering, I mean, because of where my data has been breached enough times that I get it for, well, no
I gave
additional
up.
cost. I try to make sure it's got good eyes on me, as it were. But I looking at that,
But
I'm wondering how many people don't look at everything, right?
I mean, even the delete me's and those kinds of services out there, like Consumer Reports did a report on them last year, and even the best ones out there, maybe hitting 50% of it.
Yeah.
There's none of them out there that get everything. So
No, they don't. Or,
it's a very hard problem.
yeah, I agree, and that's why I was thinking, make sure you're looking for abuse. I mean, like for years, somebody grabbed my cell phone number, puts it into everything, there's nothing I can do about it, right? I mean, I can
Yeah,
put it in
no.
the delete me, but if that person keeps putting it in as that's my contact, that means I get a text or a call that's not for me that I just, junk.
A couple months ago, I was getting 30 calls a day, and I
Oh.
was getting
Wow.
2 second, 1 second, 2 second voicemails for each one.
Hmm.
And every single call would come from a different number, and there was just nothing I could do about it. So that's when I enabled the thing where only ring through if it's in my contact book.
Yeah.
But still, I would have to go through and empty out all the voicemails on a daily basis. This
Yeah,
was like
yeah,
a
yeah.
new
Yeah.
job for me,
Yeah.
and there was just absolutely nothing I could do to stop it.
Speaking of which, did you get the text about how you can make $300 to $600 a day on 90 minutes work
Every day,
every day?
I get those. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's hard to work backwards. Like Michael Bazell has some training and tips on how to combat that. He uses a lot of VoIP services and different signal numbers and things like that. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Hence his whole website and training and all his content. But it's hard to work backwards from that. Like once your information's already out there, it's hard to get it
Yeah.
back. I think Michael has started off with that privacy in mind and is in much better shape than many of us.
Yeah.
right.
I'm just trying to prevent somebody creating a fake Lee Neely, right?
Yeah, services like Delete Me can help track
Yeah.
some of that. Although I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to say there's no value in them. They're just
No, no.
never
Yeah.
going to be 100%.
No, no,
Right.
I'm more. That's why I've got it. Just things locked down and monitored. So it says, "Hey, you dude, something's going on. You should be worried about." And I'll look at it and see if I care, rather than trying to have to manually track all that stuff myself. And yes, I could track it myself, but I've got like things I want to do. And as I said, as it's been provided for me thanks to my job choices.
Hey, Paul,
Yeah.
have you seen Buttercup?
No.
Buttercup.
So, Trail of Bits open sourced Buttercup. So this was their DARPA software that they wrote for DARPA had an AI challenge for
Mhm.
you to find vulnerabilities in common open source, popular open source packages, and remediate those vulnerabilities with no human in the loop, completely automated.
You mean the
And,
AIXCC?
Yeah. hmm
And real quick, in this article on Hackaday, is that the one they're referencing?
Mandy knows about it.
I do. Continue. I
Oh,
also got to
this
go
is
there
cool.
year. Yeah.
I found an article in the Trail of Blitz blog about it.
Yeah, so you can go, it's github.com/trail of bits/buttercup, and works with C++ and Java. And really cool kind of glimpse into the future of this. I heard Dave Itel he runs the security team over at OpenAI, is exclusively using LLMs and AI for SAS, for fuzzing, for vulnerability discovery.
So
Oh,
Buttercup finds and patches software vulnerabilities in open source code repositories. Starts by running an AI ML assisted fuzzing campaign, and then when vulnerabilities are found, analyzes using a multi-agent AI driven patcher to repair the vulnerability. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's the stuff that Dave Itel was talking about that he's working on
Yep.
with OpenAI, right?
Very very low system requirements because it's using like bring your own API key for Anthropic or OpenAI to do the heavy lifting. So you only
That is
need
cool.
8 cores, 16 gigs of RAM, 100 gigs of storage.
When did they open source this? A couple weeks ago?
Like a week ago,
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
That's
I think
gonna
it was
make-
about a week ago.
that's awesome.
This is neat stuff.
I think we will see huge strides in vulnerability
Dude.
identification and patching from LLMs.
I can't
'cause
wait
that
to
tech
see-
is just
I hope this is something that can just disappear backlogs for folks.
Mhm.
yeah.
This
Especially
is
in
one.
large critical open source projects, and you turn this
Mhm.
loose on them, and it can just go clean up bugs that, as humans, it would be hard pressed to go find,
Right.
right? Or
This-
there's only so many of us that can find. I look at the Qualys team, right?
Yeah.
The Qualys team does it. In last I talked to them, it was like a manual source code review process, but they're only going to get so far into so many projects doing it manually if they're
Mhm.
using technologies like this. Now,
This
I
is-
mean, you don't really need humans. I mean, I think that's the most exciting thing that came out of. I think Dave Itel ran like a mini conference off of RSA, and they were talking about, well, like, what if we would just make a public open model where anyone that has an open source project of some kind of importance can just
Right.
use that, right? Like, someone's got to fund it,
Right.
but if we all pitch in and fund it, we all benefit from more secure open source software.
Yeah, so I wasn't as far as the maybe you don't need humans part, but I was using the term that is not very popular, which is force multiplier. Now, this allows you
Yeah.
to do more with less, which I don't like that. But the term, not
So-
the concept. And this looks really awesome. I mean, you could really have a lot more happening with a lot fewer resources and cover your bases better, which is a win. I mean, hell. I
So
mean, I
the-
still
the
want to
only
look at it.
concern-
Go ahead.
The
Go.
only concern here is as AI writes most of our code,
Mhm.
like a lot of people using tools like these to remediate stuff, like it's checking in 12,000 lines in
Right.
one pull request.
Yeah,
Right.
I know.
Yeah, so-
your ability to understand what's going on in your own code, you're now going to depend on AI to tell you what's going on in there, right?
So my
it's not-
AI
it's not
tells
gonna
me what
be-
your AI did.
Yeah, nobody will know what's in the code. Nobody will have the time to go
right.
through there, read the code, and understand it. For some use cases, like sometimes you can pinpoint what's going on. You can go into there and fix it, and a human can understand it. But
At what point is the old fart supposed to say Skynet? Because it's writing and checking itself.
Mm.
Sorry, no, it is a valid point, and I still think it's exciting. I mean, we got to figure out how to govern it, but I wouldn't try and stop doing that. I just figure how to make sure we got appropriate
And-
oversight, and let's do that and let it roll.
and we're already there. There are already companies saying 90% plus of our code is AI written. So like we have
Yeah.
no idea what's in there, but it works.
Yeah, and that's what worries me
and
is
I
not
think-
the. Yeah, go ahead, Mandy.
So, well, I was thinking of a specific talk at Sky Talks where the hacker referenced he did get a legitimate, actual paying job at Marriott and then was messing around in their code, figuring out what had gone on. And he said, just in that case, like as he was researching certain things, he goes, "Yeah, I found that the Marriott system had over 10,000 hands in the code."
Wow.
And he's like, it was, yeah. So it's a fascinating story what he did and how. But I've got to believe that just in going to increasing, whether it's vibe coding or you want to just, AI being in the code, that has to give some symmetry and connected continuity through the code, unlike what was found, like what he's talking about.
Right.
That's a lot of hands. There's not enough hand sanitizer for that many hands.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about the last time you jumped back into somebody else's code to have to deal with it and fix it without somebody else to help you.
It's like the road stop gas station bathroom of code repositories.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, awesome, guys. Thank you so much. We're a little over time, but thank you for doing the Hacker Syndicate on this fine Friday. Thanks, everyone, for listening and watching. We'll see you next time. It's thinking.